Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here on this Friday, the 8th of May, 2020. I was I was a little bit late getting my show on today, and the reason why I was searching for something that I said. I remember saying it, and I think I've said it a couple times in my earlier videos. Now, this goes way back to when the virus only had like 1,000 people had it in China or less. Maybe 500 had it in China, and it was not spread through the world. But there was isolated cases popping up everywhere. And I think they had their first case in North America. Somebody come on in from China on an airplane, and they were tracking down at that time that hadn't seeded itself in North America yet at all. And I said, if I was king of North America, I said I'd cut off all air traffic, cut off all shipping, cut off everything, and there would be nothing. Nobody comes in or out of the country, which sounds like a drastic measure at the time, to actually cut off everyone coming in or out of the country. And yes, it would have been a drastic measure. But you know what? We still wouldn't have had any COVID-19 in North America. Not any. We would have been the only country on earth, North America here, to not have any. And all the rest of the world would have been polluted with it. Because it couldn't get in. Period. You know? Now, who's caused this problem? Look, let me open up the charts here. Take a look at this. Open up the charts right here. Take a look at this. Tragic. The first time ever, more than half of the United States population is not working. Look at this. Look at this chart. Employment to population ratio chart. Look, it's just straight down. 51% are employed right now. That means 50% of the population is not working. Do you know the ramifications of this? This could cost far more jobs than any virus. Seriously, not jobs. I mean, this could cost far more lives than any virus. The ramifications of this are unimaginable, and we haven't really felt the consequences of it as of yet. But we're going to. We are in a depression, worse, more severe. And I heard that the Great Depression cost millions of lives. There wasn't any virus during the Great Depression. But it's an extenuating circumstance of if you've got nobody working and they can't make money, they can't get food, the chain just goes down the line, and it causes casualties as a result, And the thing about it is whose fault is all this? Did the virus shut down the economy? No, didn't. So what we're looking at is the governments on Earth, they didn't take the appropriate action when needed. I was on here and I told them what to do back in the time to do it. Told them what I would do if I was king of the world. But they never listened. My voice just went out there and it just echoed off of a number of people that watched my channel, but it just didn't get anywhere. They did what they wanted to do. What's the result of what they wanted to do? What is the result? Well, they didn't take any action then. The virus come in. They let it come in. And then what happened later? Now they shut the entire economy down. And it just seems to me that they've mismanaged everything right from the start, right from not testing to letting people in on the airplanes with very little or no restrictions whatsoever, to not following those people up and doing contact tracing. The whole way, they've dropped the ball. They've fumbled the ball so many times on this. Yet we continue to have trust and faith in these people. This is because they are politicians, and politicians basically are lawyers on steroids. That's what they are. They're basically lawyers, and they've got used to basically writing laws down, constantly making new laws, and they just expect the people to constantly follow these new laws. More and more and more laws. They keep heaping them up into a giant pile of laws, and then they come up with new laws like ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, how can we keep up with it all? They're making like 50,000 new laws a day. So I saw today something, I'm going to put a link in the description. Some woman went into a Walmart, you know, and evidently she didn't have a mask on. I don't know, maybe she's poor, maybe she couldn't get a mask, you know. So the police come in, and they have her already. I mean, they got her. They got her hands behind her back. The cops got both of her hands behind her back already, got her in custody already, And all of a sudden he grabs her like professional wrestling almost, except we're not talking about being on a floor or a mat like in a ring, where they have the bouncy floor, the floor's got some give to it and stuff. We're talking about the hard concrete Walmart floor. He picks her up and body slams her on her head. You know? It's only a wonder he didn't break her neck right in half. She's got her hands behind her back, and she can't even put her hands out in front of her to slow down the fall. And lifts her right up, big burly cop, lifts her right up over his head and body slams her head down onto the concrete for not having a mask on. This is the kind of authoritarian world we're living in, where they just basically are just they've got a bulldozer and they're just bulldozing over the people, almost the same way as the big tanks like in Tiananmen Square, quite literally. They're just bulldozing their way into doing whatever the heck they want. And so this is what we see reflected here with this cop taking this woman, and he's already got her hands behind her back. She's a woman, for crying out loud. He's a big burly man. It's nothing for him to pick her up. And it just makes me angry because, I mean, there must be a better way in this world to handle things. There must be a better way to handle things. A more gentle, a more kind approach to the people. Not to the politicians. They don't deserve a kinder, gentle approach, but the people deserve a kinder, gentler approach, rather than this authoritarian way of dealing with the people, And things like what that officer did to that young lady is just not right. We're living in a society that's lost all sense of morality. He already had her in custody. She was helpless. She had her hands behind her back. She only weighs half as much as he does. You don't need to do things like that, Anyway, let's get on with them. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but it just incenses me when I see something like that. I'm going to put a link in the description. You guys can watch it. It'll probably disgust you as much as it disgusted me. But we're all in a big problem right now. We're in big trouble. Half of the U.S. population is not working. Do we get a sense of what this is going to be? Once all the stimulus starts to run out, people start to come to the realization, hey, my unemployment hasn't come through yet. My rent is overdue. My credit card bills are overdue. They won't extend me any more credit to buy food with it. I don't have any money left. What am I going to do? How am I going to feed my kids? I've lost my job, A lot of them are working mothers and stuff like that. They might have had some job in the some gig job, like or a couple gig jobs. Maybe they worked at a bar or they worked at a restaurant as a waitress. What can I say? Let's take a look at the silver price today. It's up 8 cents. $15.44 for silver. Gold. $17.09. It's down $8.80. We're looking at $267 billion for the crypto market industry with a Bitcoin dominance of 67.9%. And the Bitcoin prices still continue to rise. It's getting ready to crack past the $10,000 mark. 98.79, you know. We'll have to see if it can hold above $10,000. $10,000 is a very important psychological barrier for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones today. It's up 340 points today, or 1.42%. 24,216 on the day so far. And let's take a look at crude oil. It's up 43 cents. Now, you know, these markets are ridiculous right now. Totally ridiculous. And the reason why I say that is these markets are basically staying nicely buoyed as if there's nothing going on. As if there's no problems. It's an unreal time that we're living in. I've never seen anything like it before. U.S. Treasuries today. We're looking at basically the long end's rising, the middle of the Treasury yield curve is falling, and the short end is rising. We're looking at 1.37 on the 30-year and 0.66 on the 10-year. And the dollar index. 99.69 on the U.S. dollar index. Okay, guys. Watching and waiting to see what happens, you know. And a lot of what happens actually depends on what the governments and the Fed actually does now at this point. If they actually start to really open the economy up and a few jobs are gained back again, might be a help. If they continue to support the economy with measures of stimulus, it could be a help. But if they don't handle this correctly, this whole thing could unfold into some kind of a nightmare that we're not familiar with, you know, if they don't handle it correctly. And up till now, they haven't seemed to have been handling it very good. Surprising to say, probably who's done the best job so far is the Federal Reserve. But everything else they've done has been just crazyville. Like the whole entire shutdown of the economy is just absolute crazyville. And the way they've been handling things like food distribution and stuff like that, it's just been crazyville. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.